We're hearing, of course, a lot about Donald Trump here, but was there more to it than that? Were there sticking points that Democrat and Republican negotiators just didn't see?
No, is the short answer to that. I mean, sure, everyone is a little bit unhappy with the bill because it is a compromise.
That's the way it
in
works.
A narrowly divided Senate. And anyone who's been married more than a week knows that you must compromise. And if no one's happy, then it's a success, right? So this is this is where Congress is at. For decades, Congress has passed bills that no one is fully happy with so that the policy can move. Sure, it slows down a little in an election year, but we've never seen anything like this where the nominee, not even the incumbent, but the nominee for one party can say to Congress, don't pass this bill because then I don't have this issue to campaign on. Yeah. And they actually agree to it. It's really kind of stunning.
It's worth keeping in mind here that all of these members of the House also, except for the ones who have decided they are retiring, are seeking re-election and may also want to campaign on this issue for themselves, not just for the former president. Sure. But they also may want to campaign on perhaps impeaching the Homeland Security Secretary, because as Joe and I mentioned, Wendy, we are expecting that vote to take place this evening. There's, 3 Republican votes that Mike Johnson can afford to lose here to get this impeachment across the line, and you have 2 no's already. What happens if this vote fails? What does that signal about the functioning of the House?
It signals that they will really have egg on their face if they do this, because what they're saying is we don't want to change the policy, but what we do want to do is impeach the guy who we could empower to change the policy if we pass this bill. But rather than pass this bill, we'll just try to impeach him, even though his impeachment is as dead in the Senate as the legislation is in the House.
It's pretty remarkable. Wendy Benjaminson, thank you, as always, for joining us. And now let's turn to Bloomberg's Jordan Fabian, who covers the White House side of this equation. Jordan, thanks for joining this evening. Obviously, we heard from the president earlier, putting a lot of this on Donald Trump's shoulders. He also was asked, though, at the end of his remarks, whether or not this maybe changes the White House's decision or signal that they would veto a standalone Israel bill. Potentially, we could see a standalone Ukraine bill as well. How does this change the thinking on your end of Pennsylvania Avenue?
On the standalone Israel bill, I don't think it changes their calculus at all. Their stance the whole time is that this is a political stunt engineered by Speaker Mike Johnson to try and get around this conundrum he put himself in with the Ukrainian border package. And in fact, the president was pretty clear in his speech today that he's going to campaign on this. He's going to pin the blame on Donald Trump for tanking this package and saying that he cynically took advantage of this issue and doesn't want actual solutions. He wants it as a live ball to run on. So he said he's going to take that case to the American people. The White House didn't really preview any kind of legislative strategy. They've talked in the past about ways they can act themselves to get additional aid for Ukraine, but that's not going to measure up to what Congress could provide, the amount of money that Ukraine needs to continue this war against Russia.
Well, so should we believe that Joe Biden's maybe talking to Mitch McConnell here? Jordan, they were the two who wanted to see Ukraine funded, as well as our allies in Israel and Taiwan. Will a separate bill emerge, maybe as part of the government funding process in the next couple of weeks? What happens to this money that's left in the balance?
Yeah, Senator McConnell talked about that earlier, saying that they could move on the foreign aid aspects alone. But the math gets tough. Even if President Biden gets involved, even if they get a package through the Senate, the House remains a huge obstacle. Speaker Mike Johnson said the whole process of this negotiation that his members needed stronger border policy in order to vote on Ukraine. He then changed his position and said, actually, we don't need to pass a bill. The president can do border policy all on his own. So it's like sort of negotiating with Play-Doh. It's a kind of impossible position for the White House to be in. So I don't think they're too optimistic about anything getting through Congress at this point. So they can try different ways. They can try working with McConnell, but the frustration with Speaker Johnson is palpable.
Our thanks to Bloomberg's Jordan Fabian with us this evening on Balance of Power. As we turn now to Bloomberg's Sara Forden for our third top story. It's been that kind of week and that kind of day here. Great to see you, Sara. We got a ruling from the appellate court today in Washington when it comes to Donald Trump's claim of presidential immunity in this case that was set to tip off in March on attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 election. What does this do now to the schedule, and does this actually strengthen Jack Smith's hand?
Absolutely. And this was a long-awaited opinion, several weeks. It's been hanging out there, and it came through very strongly worded, doesn't leave a lot of light for Trump's arguments. It's very dismissive of his positions. They give him 6 days to appeal to the Supreme Court, so the ruling is on hold until he does that. And then it's going to be up to the Supreme Court to decide, do they leave it to the appellate court and say you did great and this decision stands? Or is this such a momentous decision that they want to take it up and put their stamp on it?
Well, and how quickly would they decide to do so or actually make a ruling is the other question we have, knowing that it was just last week that the judge in this case, Judge Tanya Chutkan, canceled the original trial date of March 4th because we were awaiting this immunity decision. How quickly could we see a trial rescheduled, depending on what the Supreme Court decides to do here?
Well, the next series of events could potentially get the wheels moving very quickly. And the courts have been very much promoting moving this along and getting justice quickly. You know, we don't see anybody dragging their feet here. The appellate court put it on an expedited schedule. So if the Supreme Court decides not to take it up, it could go right back to Chutkan and she could set a new trial date.